to see one of the unknown exams, that is EPFO. Unknown not exactly in the sense that it is only exam which gives the Group A service directly from one exam and interview. There is no other exam where you can give the one objective exam and interview and directly get a Group A service. So in that sense it is very interesting one. Then it's another only exam which up to 35 age allow the exam to be given. Other exams like even CAPF 25 open category is the highest age that allow. So here up to 35 EPSC Employment Provident Fund Commissioner discussing. This is Employees Provident Fund Organization, one of the prime organization in the country which manages the Provident Fund of a government employees. So it's an exam conducted by the UPSC itself, Union Public Service Commission. As we discussed, Group A type of service it is, especially APEC. There are two posts actually, Assistant Provident Fund Commissioner, and second is the AOEO, Account Officer and Enforcement Officer. Of course, more posts are there for the AOEO, and APEC slightly less posts are there, but single form you can sit for both the exams. एकाच फॉर्म मध्ये दोन्ही होऊ शकतात, both you can appear in this exam. And this, as I discussed, only two stage exam. आपण slide मध्ये बघू. I have brought slides for it. So eligibility is any graduate. Any graduate. And what is desirable, they said, is that a public administration मध्ये degree असेल तर, diploma in accounting and company law or labor law is also been desirable. So maximum age for APSC is a 35 year and AOEO is a 30 years. So one of the relatively higher ages are been allowed into it. And graduate is the only criteria that way. Ultimately, though they have said that some degrees are desirable, like diploma in labor laws or company law, etc. Per se, they don't matter it. Ultimately, they take the written marks, interview marks total, and this is how the ranking has been put. So in short, everyone has equal opportunity to sit for this exam. So how many posts are been there? So Assistant Provident Fund Commissioner, which is one of the higher posts, 159 posts have come. So last exam there are 230 posts, so slightly declined, but it's okay, that happens. But Group A type, and then AOEO is there, Administrative Officer and Enforcement Officer, 418. So that's a total makes it to 577 posts. So relatively substantial number of posts are been available for this examination this time. Exam is conducted by UPSC, single form has to be filled, and last date is the 17th March to the apply. So last date is still there, otherwise others will wonder what exactly is. So it's still there and therefore it's useful, one can say. So two steps to success, one can say. Stage 1 is the written exam and stage 2 is the interview. So directly objective exam and interview, only two stage formula it is. So that's an interesting idea. And then exam is expected in July, August, in that period. So it will not UPSC and MPSC exams will be over, and then one can appear for this exam. So simultaneously you can pursue. That's a possibility into it. So there's a Game of Thrones type. It's a game of marks. So Karl Marx nahi, it is a different marks. So total marks of written exam is a 300. But of course here target is a bit higher, so 230 at least from objective exam, because what happens, a lot of people appear for this exam. The Ekas exam objective is the opposite by the same, and everybody is interested in becoming it somewhere. So relatively target has to be kept higher, say 230 out of 300, and then out of 100 in interview, target has to be 70. So out of total, out in last exam, 297 in the open category total was the cutoff. So that shows the relatively cutoff is higher. Or as a day by day more information is spreading and more information is easily available on tips, we expect every exam in India cutoffs to go higher day by day. Weightage of a written marks and interview in the final result is 75 to 25, that we can see. So relatively higher importance is given to the interview by these people, because otherwise Chandigarh High Court once gave the report result, like a declaration, said that interviews weightage should not be more than 12%. So accordingly, UPSC, MPSC, many exams, they follow this formula that interview weightage is never more than 12%. But here this is 25%. But the EPFO issue is again written and interview. So obviously, then interview, there is a lot of chance in this exam to make up for the shortage of marks in the written, and on that basis also one can get selected in these exams. So exam pattern is a multiple choice objective type questions will make up the written exam. Questions will be both in English and Hindi, something to UPSC similar pattern. 4 objectives. The exam will last for 120 minutes, 2 hours. The exam will be worth 300 points. 1/3 of the marks are assigned to the question deducted for each incorrect answer. Same way, 1/3 negative marking. So suppose somebody solved the 3 correct questions and 9 wrong. And how much is the score? 0. 3 correct and 9 gone wrong. And the score will be 0. That is how the negative marking get applied. So negative marking is good for serious candidates or bad? Good or bad? Good. Because non-serious candidate, what they do, they go by luck by chance. And then sometimes they clear. Earlier this happened, no? But now with the negative marking, it never happen. If you try to take more and more chance, you go back into negative. But the serious candidate know which question they know answer and which question they don't know the answer. So serious question never get affected by, candidates never get affected by negative marking as such. But the non-serious get affected more by it. So that way indeed it's a positive idea, one can say. So now what is there into it? So what happened as usual in the Spardha, computer exams, khichdi of different type of components, same is here, of course, and regular things which are in our CSAT and in the GS things are there. Similar things are there in this exam as such. So let's say some of them. General English is there. General English is been there. So English include the idioms and phrases, conclusion, tense, subject, verb, agreement, word formation. So all these type of things which are also there in the CSAT already. Now whether they go to the level of UPSC CSAT or not. So it is seen from the past pattern that they are not going to that level. Slightly lower than that. So it's a more pattern similar to the SSC CGL and a CDS examinations. So that level they take it. So not exactly very high, but neither very low. In between somewhere they take a pattern of these questions of a general English. So all type of things are there into it. Articles and conjunctions and theme distractions, vocabulary, prepositions, etc. So this is like game of English, we can say. So 20 questions are expected. So substantial part is there. 20 questions are there for English. R.S. Agrawal is, if you are totally new to this idea and not studied yet objective English systematically, then R.S. Agrawal is the best for such people, because they have built up the topic systematically. But suppose you already done somewhere and already well versed with it, then for advanced thing, then you can go for general English objective by the Bakshi. So either of two will also do as option. And apart from that, for practice, CGL old question papers available, and even CDS English papers available. So all these past papers could be solved for the practice of this particular part, English, which is for 20 marks. 20 questions are there. Then Indian culture and history is also been a part. So regular one, the Stone Age, the Harappan civilization, the Mauryan period, post-Mauryan phase, Shunga, Kanva, Satvahan, Kushana Empire, Gupta Empire. These are from past questions we have derived. So these all things have been there, and some philosophy and literature has also been there. So history is also there. So 10 to 12 questions come on the history and culture part. So that way, nearly 10% weightage is there. NCERT 6 to 12 standard books are one of the best to go about, because that type of question and that level of question, and from there only sometimes the questions are been derived by them. UPSC go for IS examination, they go for very, very innovative questions which are totally new. That doesn't happen in these examinations. Many a time they ask the expected questions only, but slightly you have to know it, that's all. But otherwise they don't ask any totally new and innovative questions, as in the UPSC they tried number one exam, this IS examination. So that way it's a regular questions only they asked. What is their aim is that They don't want any like a person to get like into special studies. As they all UPSC has this particular style. In all examinations, they give in the beginning only declaration that exam will be such a that nobody has to do any special studies. Any graduate without any special study able to do it. So after people spend 5-6 years, they wonder what they have done in graduation, supposedly, sir. Because this definition says that by definitely only graduate you can do. So they try to stick to it, at least they say. And so accordingly, these exams, at least they do not go to the totally innovative questions as such. Some other things are like Spectrum Modern India will be also useful because it is already used by you all and useful it is. The next is a population type demography. Even such type of questions are many in the exam. Birth and death, mobility and migration, population and aging, population changes, population estimates and projections. So this topic always remain relevant for India for in this period because India has been passing through the demographic transition phase presently. So the details are being asked, but of course now presently they will be from the which census? 2011, because next census not done. So obviously from past census only the questions are expected in this part. So demography from any standard economic textbook it will be done. So Nitin Singhania is there, or Ramesh Singh is there, Datta Sundaram is there, Uma Kapila is there, anything what you are using, one can take this topic and read. Then there is like globalization issues also been there, though not directly mentioned, but there have been questions are coming on it fairly like that. So global issues like category wise, climate justice, economic inequality, fair trade, forced migration, global dimming, human overpopulation, human trafficking. So the globalization has impact on the economy. Last 30 years we have been passing through the experience of a LPG model. And 30 years is sufficient time to look back and take a stock of what happened and what will happen next. So that all discussion get one way reflected in these questions, one can say. Okay. Then governance is another topic that has been there. So as you know, what is the meaning of governance and what is different from government?
Governance and administration.
Then what is government?
Government is a body. Governance is a method.
Okay, correct. So governance is the actual application of a government. Through administration it is been done. So it's more about effectiveness of the systems, how effectively they work out. So now instead of government as a focus, now focus has shifted to the governance, improving the effectiveness, then just building the like different type of organs of the government. हे अनस्टेबल आहे का? हां नाही ते अनस्टेबल झालं आहे. So in this broad oversight, of the mission, critical risks are being talked about: environmental, social and governance oversight, human capital management, audit committees oversights, corporate culture and whistleblower protection, board biodiversity and board diversity. Different type of ideas have been there in the governance. So this governance as a topic has been in the UPSC also been taken up recently. So in the main set is already there. So if you know that even that has to be as it is covered, so one can take a chance and cover here itself this topic to some extent. So there is a book by Lakshmikant only, Governance in India. So that is also referred for UPSC main exam, and then for here also one can refer to it. Then next is accounting. So this is one of the syllabus which, so those who are like appearing for the IAS examination are not well versed with. That is accounting part. Accounting part is different from our regular history, geography and polity and other things. So this is one of the main part in the examination. So it includes the financial reporting, forensic and valuation services, tax, information technology, personal financial planning, professional ethics, firm practice management, plain English accounting, government audit quality, business industry government, employees benefit plan audit quality only, not for profit organizations, and a fair value measurements and such type of topics. So this topic is a main blind spot for those who are doing IAS examination. What happened that many times other things they will work with, but if this is not done specifically, then you can't answer these questions. Because they may be simple, but if you're not well versed with this idea, so then so this way, if you want to appear for the examination, then you have to do this topic on priority. What I thought of, but if it's not done priority, then these marks are gone. There is 14 to 15 questions come on this topic. 14 to 15 is substantial part. So therefore, this is one of the crucial topic we can say. So it's an odd man out for many. That could be said about it. But it could be tackled. So accounting is basically the need of the job, because the job is mainly office work, and one should be well versed with accounting ideas, because EPFO is a person who work behind the curtain. They do not come front much, but they are backbone of our all social security systems in India. So lakhs of people in the especially government sector are getting support of Provident Fund by this organization. So all these things are being included into it. Online, am I audible? Okay. So there are some books like T.S. Grewal's Double Entry Bookkeeping by Sultan Chand is one of the major book. But some other books are also available in accountancy. Even they could be covered. So overall, what has to be done about it? Like either you take online courses which are available amply on accountancy, if you are not at all well versed with it, or you are confident that you can do on your own. Maybe you just sit with these books and try to like understand. At least I think it is simple. It is not so much complicated as one may think, because accounting is like a full of reasons that how these entries are done. What is exactly depreciation? What do you mean by tallying? So not very difficult as such. Then basic computer knowledge, which includes the Word, Microsoft OneNote, data structure, Microsoft Access, PowerPoint. Once upon a time in IAS examination also this type of things are there, but now they are reduced it that way. But in this examination again, as we discussed, clerical work is there mainly, or office work is there. So one should be well versed with the IT systems and how they work. So basic questions come on it, not very deep questions, but it do have this question on these parts, the internet, workplace productivity tools, emerging technologies and web publishing, PC software and office automation, database management system, MS Project, MS Publisher. So what Microsoft Office we use hardly 2 or 3% of it. You will come to know after reading this all. Because so many things are there. MS Projector is there, database management has been there. So many interesting things are there into it. So Lucent has a book on computers that will be of useful. Lucent has a very interesting books which gives the summarized format and easy to remember there. But of course they have to be like revised regularly, and then only you can get advantage of it. So basic questions are asked in this topic. 6 questions are expected on this topic of computers in the examination. So general science has been there, which include the kinetic theory, chemical bonding and molecular structures, electrochemistry and chemical kinetics, thermodynamics, motions, altering currents, ray optics and optical instruments, oscillations, environmental chemistry, biomolecules, solid state, semiconductor electronics. Slightly applied part, theoretical part. But on the border of being theory and applied, that type of questions are asked. But as I said, not very innovative questions. They ask very regular questions. So regular questions are one which, like suppose from the prism, how many lights go and what is the sequence of the lights. Now this is something not very innovative. It's like regular, but still you have to know. It's not, you cannot. Or suppose some other questions are like particular person, mother has this blood group, father has that blood group, and what blood group the child cannot have. So now this is something, tables are there, and one can, once understood the whole system, then one can easily solve. But suppose you don't know, then you can't solve. So this type of questions are there, which could be understood in the beginning only, that what could be there, practiced, and then could be solved. It will help in our regular exam also. So 6 questions are expected on a science part. 6 to 10 standard NCERT is the best. So NCERT as usual is the best in this also. As you know, NCERT is very lucent. This is very simple to read. It is very full of photographs and other things. School books there, so they are relatively easy to digest, one can say. So or lucent is of course an option available for it. Then there is something called the elementary mathematics also, which include the abacus, LCM and SCF, fractions and decimals, place values and face value, addition and subtraction, multiplication and subdivision, counting money, etc. Now this is something, a part which our IAS examination don't have. So slightly more than this our exam CSAT, our questions are asked here like. So these are to the level of a CGL, SSC CGL, which asks higher level of questions. And slightly more practicing is required in this particular part. So this is one of the blind spot the students had. If there is no sufficient practice, no sufficient understanding of this particular mathematical parts, then this part will be problematic. So only on the ratios and time variations and that type of thing, you cannot solve it. It requires special practice or understanding. So just like we discussed that accountancy, this is another part which requires special preparation for the examination. Then type of statistics are also there, like describing and displaying data, linear regression and correlationship, experiments and sampling, probability, hypothesis test and confidence intervals. So connected to the mathematics also some statistical discussion is also there. But again, for the job requirement is very much required, because EPFO basically handles more than 12 lakh data of people and their accounts. So then they have to continuously go through who are the people who are getting what and other. So according to the exam requirement, this has been done. The general maintainability separately there. So that includes a normal thing, blood relationship, alphabetical test, setting arrangement, directional sense test, mathematical operation, classification, series, arithmetical reasoning, analogy, number ranking and time square test. So all these things are there. So this is now common with our CSAT syllabus. So there we of course do it, and here also of course you can take advantage of these particular things. And so you can see some like 60% things are very common, but some 40% things are different, which has to be done separately and cannot be covered in our normal examination. Then one of the interesting topic which is not at all there in our anywhere thing is the industrial relationship. So this is a topic which has labor laws also included into it, and the first one is relatively new for many, especially industrial relationship. Labor laws, at least to some extent we hear about this new labor laws introduced by the government, some discussion on it, etc. So 14 to 15 questions expected on this topic. This topic is full of facts like which act is passed when, what exactly the details of this fact, what is authorized union, what is recognized union, collective bargaining when it happened, different case laws related to it. So that way this industrial relationship is a bit deeper topic, and it requires special attention and special preparation. So if you decide to do the EPFO examination and studies, then one of the advice is that one can start from these topics only first, because that's the best strategy. If you fear the ghost, what's the best idea, Go in darkness and try to see the ghost. That's a simple idea. If you are afraid of something, better you face it directly. Because once you do that and get rid of the tension, then you can tackle other things easily. At least you are known to it. You know them. So cutoff is, if you see, previous year cutoffs of APFC is 297 and AOU is 296. So very next to each other. And as I discussed, so accordingly then 300 should be the target in overall examination of a 400 marks, because that much expected cutoff has been there. So overall cutoff is high because relatively questions are simple, as I discussed. UPSC exam hardly what happened, that hardly people are able to solve the 50% questions correct, remaining 10% by guess. Here we are expecting 70% to be correct. So correct means at least there should be that much easy, or at least it should be done. Otherwise it's not possible. So that way I am discussing that relatively question level is low, but then in return cutoff goes high. That has been a case. We also decided to have test series for it from 2nd April, one paper. It's test 2 on 23rd April, test 3 on 14th May, test for 11 June and test 5 25th June, 10 to 12. So even that will be taken advantage. And apart from that, if somebody wants to have the course, then what is the issue is that on internet ample number of free courses are also available. On Civil app is running the full course on YouTube free. So if anybody want to just have idea what exactly is the subject, then one can even see that. That's not an issue as such. What is most preferable is to sit and practice and make notes wherever possible, revision. These all are a very crucial part of this particular examination, because it requires more accuracy, as we discussed. If 300 is the target of 400, then accuracy has to be very, very high, and we cannot afford to miss even a single question which is solvable. If some question is possible to solve and you miss it, then it will be costly, one can say. We did take the interviews of so many candidates and declared. So interview part is of course a crucial part. So interview part, of course, we are can be prepared for it. That's not an issue. So what is one of the key to this all discussion is that if somebody want to give this exam, can it give it along with the MPSC class 1 and UPSC? So we can ask this question other way around. Can you give MPSC class 1 and UPSC together, suppose? That's a totally different question again. So what happened? Playing too many balls at a time is also an interesting game, one can say. EPFO exam did require special attention and separate studies. At least 10 to 12 hours a day has to be put only suppose you are focusing this examination, because there are two types of candidates for the exam. Those who are doing IS examination, they also appear, and those are only preparing for the EPFO are also been there. And then directly in this exam, who is your advantage? Those are directly doing it. Why? Because the industrial relationship and labor law, even mathematics is slightly different. Then the statistics has been there. Very different topics have been there into this examination. So there, those who are directly doing it, they get a direct advantage because they are preparing it properly. Those who are appearing for the IS exam, they are more focused on that. So some topics they found it comfortable, but some others they were not able to find it comfortable. So if you try to go for this only as an exam standalone, then also it's good. But suppose not possible, of course you can appear for the both. Nothing bad in appearing. Fees is 125 rupees for applying this exam. So earlier used to say that IS exam is cheaper. This is cheaper than that. And boys 25, girls not a single rupees fees there So that way, it's not we are saying that don't sit appear, but if possible, then you can appear fully for it and plan it and crack it. Or of course, you can give it along with the basic, but then you are determined to discuss study this topic separately. Industrial relationship, accounting as the idea, some part of mathematics which is very different than normal. This has to be studied separately then. If you are ready for that, then only it is worth appearing for this examination. Otherwise, then just on the our regular UPSC studies, this exam can't be cleared. It's not possible. Maybe interview you can clear, but you will not reach up to say interview, because interview of course you will be good in that, but then main issue will be reaching up to interview will become the issue. No one can say. So accordingly, if you run through the strategies, then it's okay. Like have limited sources, because this exam we discuss is not very innovative like a UPSC or IS examination. IS examination they ask very logical type of questions and very innovative one. Here slightly less innovativeness is there, but more depth is been there slightly. Like they keep asking different type of questions. Current affairs we not discussed, but is also part of this examination. And current affairs, at least 10 to 12 questions directly or indirectly come in this examination. So paper reading, as usual, is an important strategy for this examination. One has to keep reading the continuously paper, keep abreast with the facts which are going on, and that will help. So normal current affairs has to be continued for the examination. So this way, as we began discuss in the beginning, this is the only exam where just one objective exam and interview, one become officer. Like no other exam has such officer type ideas in such a simple ideas. We expect that in coming period, this exam will get merged into our normal UPSC. So maybe this is the last of this type of opportunities. This may not come again, because nowadays they are merging even Indian Railway Management Service (IRMS). They initially thought of taking it separately, but finally they merged it into the regular exam. So similar, this may happen with this exam, like because this is a Group 1 exam. Group A is like all post in the UPSC exam only, IS exam only. So Group A exam keeping separately itself is interesting one. And even this knowledge of this financial accounting should be there, etc. is okay. But then beyond one limit, this things don't matter. If our RBI governor is what degree? BA history. There is all the ideas that one should know financial. That is all is very interesting thing like. So do you have any questions on this part? So we discuss overall this examination and ideas it has.
Sir, probation period.
Oh. Yes, the probation period is there. But that is for every government exam. In IS examination has a probation period. Every exam has a probation. Means after you cleared, you are supposed to be on probation for some time. Then only you get permanent. हाँ त्याच्यात कसं झालं की तर when you enter this APC is a very good post, Assistant Provident Fund Commissioner. So first is a probationary period for 1 year, and after that one work into the Assistant Provident Fund Officer, and then every 4 years promotion happen. So after 4 years one become Provident Fund Commissioner type, which on field duty, and then after 5 years promotion on the headquarters one get posted. So up to that post for long time one remain, and then finally if good things are there, then you can reach up to the board of this whole organization. Board is the highest thing. So overall levels are not many in this organization. Directly you start as a APC only, that is Assistant Provident Fund Commissioner only, and then that only you get promoted to the next level. Mainly work profile is office work, computer work has been there, and cities, urban, and some posts are with field, but field means again city to city. You have to move from one city to another city. It's not in the rural areas as such. It do not have much public contact, but public contact is not there much. It's mainly you have to meet with the main organization officers. Those are running after the setup, etc. Public contact per se is not there. So per se administration is not there into much into it. Generally we think of administrative ideas. So that is not much there into it. It's more to number crunching, finding out detail, or some organizations in India, many in India, are notorious for not paying the provident fund. They take it from employee salary but never pay it. So one should have the eyes of like a James Bond and find out who is these people who are not paying catch them. So sometimes thrilling things are also there. You have to raid the organizations, check their accounts, find out who is like doing such things, and then complain about them, and they may attack on you. This type of thing also happens. So this also happens. So some thrilling is also there into it. But what is the problem? There outside people never know what exactly is going on. Many of the common people don't know only such organization exists. Epfo. So you killed also, nobody knows why you got killed. So some thrilling is also there. But otherwise it's a regular job. A1 is a job.
तिथे जॉब
त्याचं थोडंसं एन्फोर्समेंट ऑफिसर ती जी आहे ती थोडीशी ती आपण बघितल्याप्रमाणे ते एन्फोर्समेंट नेम सजेस्ट ओनली ईडी यू मस्ट हर्ड त्याचा हा वेगळ्या प्रकारे एन्फोर्समेंट ऑफिसर सो यू हॅव टू गो ऑफिस टू ऑफिस अँड सी वेदर दे आर फॉलोइंग रूल्स ऑर नॉट हाऊ मेनी एम्प्लॉईज आर देअर हाऊ मच दे आर शोईंग ऑन द बुक्स whether they are cutting the provident fund of them or not, whether they are like paying it on time or not. All this checking has to be done continuously, and that is the work profile of an accounting officer. AO is mainly an office job, and as the name suggests, has to maintain the accounts properly, assist the auditors in auditing function. That is the main work they have to do. So the EU is a bit interesting job. That is the enforcement officer compared to the AO. But EPSC is a better quality job, obviously. But then more less post of EPSC and APSC and more post of AOU are been there.
हा जॉब करून अभ्यास करणार याचा असं एक्सपिरियन्स आहे का की हा जॉब केला मग त्याच्यातून पण अभ्यास करून मग युपीएससी
हो आहे ना म्हणजे सगळ्या प्रकारचे लोक आहेत त्यामुळे येस दे आर बीन देअर लाईक बट देन दे आर आय सीन दॅट हे आस्क्ड इन द UPSC exam that why you want a job now again. Already one job is there, huh? Group A, that too. But otherwise, of course, there are people who do it.
रेव्हेन्यू डिपार्टमेंटच्या अंडर
So it's a separate ministry only, Social Security. Center jobs are one of the best in the state. Center offer the better salary, better perks, better conditions of working, better promotion opportunities. So any center job is anytime better than any state job. त्यामुळे मग तो पण लॉजिक याच्यामध्ये आहे. This particular organization in future may go to private also, I think. So now these are something like because this type of work in the future may not remain with the government because per se what government is doing for it, no? But this management will be done in by private. त्यामुळे this exam will also merge and then maybe this type of the organization may not remain in the future.
पर्स काय आहे पर्स काय आहे
नाही पर्स कसं आहे की म्हणजे मग then as you become promoted after 4-5 years then you get home and other तुम्हाला घर मिळतं म्हणजे सध्या सुरुवातीला काहीच नाही आहे. Yeah, Indian Revenue Service officer also don't get a home initially. Very later they get a. तर इथे तर मग लगेच काही नाही आहे. After first 4-5 years only you get some perks. Those last time who cleared our students they not got a performance only yet. तो पण एक इंटरेस्टिंग प्रकार आहे. They are not appointed yet. कोण बी म्हणजे ऑफकोर्स ते गव्हर्नमेंट विसरते पण आता आठवतं म्हणा की आपण घेतलं होतं मग ते घेतात नंतर आता हे कोर्टात जातात. नंबर ऑफ अटेम्प्ट असं कायचं हे नाही आहे यांची एक्झामच कधी कधी निघते 3-4 वर्षांनी त्यामुळे मग म्हणजे यांचे 6 अटेम्प्ट म्हणजे आपली 25 वर्ष तसा प्रकार यांचा त्यांचं असं काय दरवर्षीच असतंय. दे डोंट टेक एव्हरी इयर एक्झाम त्यांच्या मनात आलं की ते काढतात तसं आहे. म्हणून तिचं काय असं रेग्युलर कोण माहीत नसतं बिकॉज इट डझंट कम आउट एव्हरी इयर. तर ठीक आहे. सो एनीबडी हू इज इंटरेस्टेड इन टू इट अँड ऑल्सो टेस्ट सिरीज एस्पेशली वी आर गोइंग टू कंडक्ट then welcome to all of you for that and as I discussed finally that if any want books etc then we can keep it here if you want to study here. Most of you are sitting in the reading room so even that could be like done. So if you are interested of course you can think of giving this exam. Fill the form before 17th March, that's the last date and then start preparing for it. Some books PDF is also available, so if some of you are ready then we'll form a WhatsApp group and we'll share the material also with you and so that we can have a touch about this examination, what exactly has been going on ahead into it. Okay then. But online, do you have any questions?